If you were born for greatness, don't settle for less. A mother once found a small, abandoned eagle's egg perched precariously on the edge of a cliff. Fearing for the unhatched life within, she carefully carried it down to her farm in the valley below. With nowhere else to place it, she nestled the egg among those in her chicken coop, hoping the brooding hen would care for this newcomer as one of her own. Days passed, and among the yellow chicks that hatched, there emerged one that looked strangely different, larger with darker feathers and sharper eyes, yet surrounded by chickens, raised by a hen, and with no knowledge of its true nature. The young eagle learned to live as a chicken. The young eagle grew among the chickens, pecking at seeds on the ground, scratching in the dirt for worms, and clucking with the others. Its wings, designed for soaring through vast skies, were used only for short, awkward hops across the farmyard. Its powerful beak, meant for tearing mountain prey, was reduced to picking corn kernels from the dust. Sometimes, the eagle would look up and see magnificent birds circling in the distant heights. Its heart would stir with an inexplicable longing, a strange feeling of connection to those distant specks riding the thermal currents. But then, another chicken would call, and it would return to scratching in the dirt, dismissing the momentary feeling as meaningless fancy. Years passed this way. The eagle grew large and strong, its features noticeably different from its chicken companions. Visitors to the farm would often remark, "That's not a chicken, that's an eagle." But the farmer would shake his head and reply, "No, it was raised as a chicken. It thinks like a chicken. It acts like a chicken. It may have the body of an eagle, but in its heart, it's a chicken." One day, a naturalist visited the farm and spotted the eagle among the chickens. Astonished, he confronted the farmer. "That bird is an eagle, the king of birds. It belongs to the sky, not scratching in the dirt." The farmer shrugged. "Perhaps once it was meant for the skies, but now it's just a chicken. I've tried showing it the sky before. It refuses to fly." "It has never been taught to be what it truly is," the naturalist replied. "Let me work with it." With the farmer's permission, the naturalist took the eagle to a hilltop the next morning. As the sun rose, painting the valley in golden light, he held the reluctant bird up toward the sky. "You don't belong to the earth, but to the sky," he said. "Stretch your wings and fly." The eagle looked around nervously, trembling in the man's grip. It had never been so high above the familiar farmyard. When the naturalist loosened his hold, the eagle hopped down and immediately began scratching in the grass for food. Undeterred, the naturalist brought the eagle back the next day, this time to a higher mountain. Again, he held it up to the sky. "You are not a chicken. You are an eagle. Stretch your wings and fly." The eagle, frightened, only stared longingly back toward the safety of the farm in the distance. On the third day, the naturalist carried the eagle to the highest peak in the region. Standing on the craggy summit, they could see for miles in every direction. Far below, the farm was barely visible, a tiny patch in the vast landscape. The naturalist held the eagle high. "You are an eagle. You belong to the sky, not to the earth. Stretch your wings and fly." This time, something stirred deep within the eagle. Perhaps it was the crisp mountain air filling its lungs, or the sight of other eagles soaring nearby, or simply the distance from all things familiar that finally allowed it to question what it had always believed. The eagle gazed up at the boundless blue above. It looked at its own reflection in a small mountain pool, truly seeing itself, perhaps for the first time. It looked nothing like the chickens it had lived among. Hesitantly, it stretched its wings, massive, powerful wings that had never been fully extended before. The naturalist lifted the eagle again. "You are an eagle. Stretch your wings and fly." With a sudden, powerful movement, the eagle spread its wings to their full 7-foot span. It leaned forward into the mountain wind, felt the currents lift its body, and for the first time in its life, it flew. Awkwardly at first, then with increasing confidence, the eagle soared upward, circling higher and higher until it was but a speck in the limitless sky. In that moment of liberation, a piercing cry echoed across the mountain valleys, not the cluck of a chicken, but the triumphant scream of an eagle that had finally discovered its true nature. It never returned to live among the chickens. Like this eagle, many of us live lives far below our potential. We conform to the expectations around us, accepting limitations imposed by others or by our own fears. We become so accustomed to scratching in the dirt that we forget we were born with wings. Perhaps you were raised in an environment that didn't recognize your unique gifts. Maybe you've been told repeatedly that your dreams are impractical, your ambitions unrealistic. Or possibly, like the eagle, you've simply never been shown what you might become if you dared to try. In our modern world, we face countless forces that encourage conformity. Social media platforms bombard us with narrow definitions of success. Economic pressures push us toward safe career paths. Fear of failure or ridicule keeps us within comfortable boundaries. We settle for jobs that drain our energy, relationships that diminish our spirit, or habits that numb our sense of purpose. But each of us has something of the eagle within us, a capacity for heights we've never experienced, for journeys we've yet to imagine. Your true potential might be as different from your current life as soaring is from scratching in dirt. The journey to discovering your true nature, your authentic purpose and passion, often requires a guide, someone who sees in you what you cannot yet see in yourself. It requires climbing away from familiar territory and gaining a new perspective. And ultimately, it demands the courage to spread your wings and leap into the unknown. Today, I challenge you to recognize the eagle within you, to acknowledge that you were born for more than what you've settled for. Here's what I ask of you. First, take 15 minutes of complete silence, not scrolling, not reading, not listening, just being present with yourself and the question, what would I attempt if I knew I could not fail? Second, identify one person in your life who believes in your potential more than you do. Reach out to them. Have an honest conversation about the dreams you've been afraid to pursue. Third, take one small action this week, just one step away from the chicken yard of comfort and toward the mountains of possibility. Apply for that position, sign up for that class, start that project, have that difficult conversation. Remember, the eagle never learned to soar by remaining comfortable among the chickens. Neither will you discover your greatness by clinging to the familiar. You were born for the heights. Stretch your wings and fly.